they've always been on that, you know. Like ever since they found like Neptune and Pluto and stuff, people have been looking for like the next planet in the sequence. But I think
I
finding
think we
out
would
the
have all of
Kuiper
the
Belt
planets,
and
don't
stuff
we?
kind of fueled some of the crackpot stuff about like, oh well, if the asteroid belt is between Jupiter and Mars, and if there's another belt out there, then reasonably there has to be something on the other side. But that's, you know, crackpot stuff, you know.
Um,
It's
because
so
we
cold and so dark out there. It's really hard to prove or disprove anything. I mean, they didn't find all this trans-Plutonian stuff in the Kuiper Belt like until 2006. You know, it's hard. It's not impossible. All right, like you can make a model that fits in another planet, but like that's not proof that it exists. That's proof that it could exist, you know? It's like Russell's teapot, you know? There could be a teapot floating out there in the asteroid belt, but like the burden of proof falls on you to bring me pictures of this fucking teapot, and how are you going to do that? You know?
so it's like electron. What did fuck? What did Einstein say? It was electron theory. Like you could measure
I think that's
valence electron theory. Is that what it was?
uncertainty
That's what
principle.
it
Who
was.
is that? Is that Heisenberg? Uncertainty
I,
principle? I don't know.
mm, let me look it up because
Niels
isn't it
Bohr's
one?
or something. I don't know. Uncertainty principle. I can't spell. That would help.
We cannot know both the position and speed of a particle, such as a photon or electron, with perfect accuracy. The more we
No,
nail
no.
down the
That
particle's position, the less
that's
we know
unrelated
about it.
to
Well, if
gravity.
you don't know one, but you know the other,
That this is
okay.
unrelated.
I'm aware. I'm not saying that the principle. I'm saying I'm not saying that that principle in particular relates to what you're talking about. I'm saying that the entire context of one, show me one, even though you know the other, and then you can't do it vice versa. You know what I'm saying?
It's interesting that you bring that up.
Oh boy.
It's pretty unrelated to the gravity of the planets and stuff. Like the reason that it's so hard to find all these little asteroids out past Uranus and stuff is because they're very small, they're very dark, and they're very cold. It's hard to get any radar return. It's hard to get any infrared or anything in the visible light range. You know, they're pretty negligible gravitationally. It's just hard to see them. They just slip through your fingers like dust.
Eh,
Now that you mention uncertainty, it calls to mind its weird cousin of chaos. You know, you uh in a perfect world, you ought to be able to follow the grand chain of events and reasoning all the way back to the Big Bang. You know, you ought to be able to say, oh, well, here are Newton's laws of motion. And you should be able to say, oh, well, if this object is here, it was acted on these forces in the past, and you should be able to rewind it like Newton's gigantic clock, handmade by God. You ought to just be able to turn the hands back and watch the spring coil back up and all the gears turn in reverse and rewind everything to the very beginning of existence.
sure.
But it doesn't quite happen like that.
Well,
You get
before we
into chaos theory, you get into once you have like more than three bodies, like you can't predict anything. You get the three body problem where you can know the position and direction and stuff of these bodies, but like it's too uncertain to predict with any degree of accuracy. Like
okay.
I'm kind of butchering it. Three body problem is kind of weird.
The
Maybe
hell
it's
is a
not
three
exactly
body?
related.
What is a three body problem? I mean, I get the namesake. I don't understand what's the what is it?
I'm gonna plagiarize from Wikipedia because fuck school. Uh, it's a special case of a problem that results in chaos.
Okay.
Like
Such a problem that results in
if you
chaos.
had two planets in space, you could predict everything about them just using Newton and stuff. Once you throw three bodies together and start hurling them around,
Then it gets a little
uh,
fucked. Mathematically, that is. Like, it just gets stupid complicated. Is that what you're saying?
it gets unpredictable. It gets chaotic. You
Okay.
become unable to